So as Newcastle United take their trip to Portugal and look forward to the pre-season game against Benfica, the transfer rumours over the weekend have again taken off with the club. Now, these are just reports, remember, there's nothing concrete in them, but some very interesting players being named. Now, obviously, one broke last night, which was that Newcastle United have apparently inquired about the Paris Saint-Germain winger Julian Draxler. Now, the German international is, well, he seems to be around forever. However, he's only 28. He's turning 29 in a couple of months. But this is a very interesting one for me because it's not the type of player that we've been linked with earlier on in the transfer window. This guy is obviously a lot older. Also a player who was highly sought after a few years ago, but seems to have been on the decline of recent seasons. Hasn't been a regular starter for Paris Saint-Germain for a couple of years now. But he is still a quality player. Now, whether or not that alerts Newcastle United, I don't know. You know, there's rumours that he's available for 20 to 25 million euros, which for me would be an interesting buy. He plays normally on the left-hand side. And again, it's another left-hand side player that we're looking at here. So does that mean that Maxi may be moving across to the right? Is that the long-term plan? Now, we know that Maxi tends to like playing on the left and cutting in on his right and having a shot, but we know that's been lacking of late. Certainly last season, cutting in, having a shot, worked maybe 2 out of 10 times that he tries it. The rest of the time, he either balloons it over the bar or it's a weak shot or he doesn't get the shot away. So it's very interesting to me to see if Eddie Howe's long-term plans are to move Maxi onto the right. Now, Julian Draxler is a very, very talented footballer, but he has been dogged by injuries for a long time as well. I think we have to take that into consideration. So for me, I'm not sure if this is a goer or not. I really don't know. Or whether it's just French reports coming out, you know, trying to push a move for the player himself. For me, he's on horrendous wages at Paris Saint-Germain as well. You know, so that could be a problem as well, given that Newcastle have a wage structure in place, and they've already shown that over the summer that is something they want to stick to. So, for me, I don't think this is going to happen. Listen, I used to admire Draxler, certainly in the past, without a shadow of a doubt. I thought he's a very, very talented player. But like I say, dogged by injuries of recent seasons, hasn't been a regular starter, and of course he's 29 in 2 months' time. So it's not the type of player that Newcastle really have been linked with during this summer transfer window. Now, another player that they've been linked with recently is Harvey Barnes at Leicester. Again, brilliant player. Really do like Harvey Barnes. Scored some cracking goals for Leicester last season as well as set some up. This guy is a real talent, but again, he's a left-sided player. So, you know, you can talk about this all you want. It looks like he wants to move Maxi across to the right-hand side, and that would solve the right-hand side problems and, of course, give us some more depth on the left. They can switch, of course, if Harvey Barnes was to come in. You know, left or right, he can play. And, again, gives us that opportunity to switch them during games and cut in and get shots away or get down to the byline and get crosses in on the stronger foot. So, for me, Harvey Barnes will definitely excite me as a footballer. But the price tag is apparently around 50 million that Leicester are valuing him at. For me, again, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a player who, yeah, he's had a good couple of seasons, don't get me wrong. But I would have thought that Harvey Barnes would probably be in the region of around 30. You know, again, you could say, is this Newcastle United tax when we come sniffing? I don't know. Leicester do value him very highly, of course, and probably don't want to lose him. So 50 million, you know, do we invest that much money in a player who definitely has the talent and we can probably get better under Eddie Howe? So that's an interesting one, but one that I would certainly go for. I really like Harvey Barnes, and I think he could really excite the Newcastle United fans without a shadow of a doubt. Now, West Ham have ended their interest in Armando Broja. Scamaker is apparently coming into West Ham, which means that they have cooled their interest on Broja, which has alerted Newcastle United and Everton again to the availability of this guy. Now, I would love to get Broja. I think it would be a loan deal, certainly to start with a possible view to an option to buy, depending on how well he does. Now, he's not really going to be first choice because Callum Wilson, we know, is the first choice striker, but it does give us options. Definitely gives us options. And, you know, we were highly linked with Broja before West Ham came in, and West Ham were initially going to offer him a permanent deal. It wasn't going to be a loan, which meant Broja would have a permanent club. And I think that's what he's looking for further down the line. This guy doesn't want to keep going out on loan. We know what Chelsea are like, loaning out players left, right and centre every season. It doesn't give the players any stability. And I think that's what Broja is looking for. So whether this deal can happen or not, I don't know. But it would probably be a loan deal with a view to a permanent buy in the future. Now, rumours have had it over the weekend and, of course, before the end of last week that Chelsea and Spurs were interested in Alan Saint-Maximin. Now, is it true? We don't know. Certainly Chelsea, given their performance against Arsenal over the weekend in the pre-season, they seem a bit worried about the forward line. However, of course, they brought Raheem Sterling in, but it's clear that the manager isn't happy still with the setup that they have. Now, one thing that I do know is that they've been put off by Newcastle's valuation of 40 million quid. I think it's a perfect valuation for me because Newcastle don't want to lose him at all. Despite what you think of Saint-Maximin, yes, he drives us wild at times, drives us insane with frustration, but that's what these flair players are like, guys. You've got to remember that these flair players are, very, very annoying sometimes when they don't perform as well as they can. But for me, 40 million quid, listen, if somebody offered us 40 million pounds, would we seriously look at it? Very much so. But I think that, the clubs are being put off by that at the minute, which is good for us because it means he stays at the club. Whatever you think of him, I think, we've got to get, if we were to sell Maximin, we've got to get some decent money for him. But apparently Chelsea and Spurs have cooled their interest now. They know the valuation of the player himself. Marco Asensio is another player that Newcastle United very strongly linked with, of course. The interest is still there from the club itself, but the player himself seems to want to stay at Real Madrid. He doesn't want to move. He wants to be part of this new rebuild at Real Madrid. So at the minute, the player is reluctant to move, but whether they can make any leeway on that in the future, time will tell. And finally, Belotti, he's still available on a free transfer. He's certainly getting linked to us in the media a lot of times over the weekend. But there hasn't been any firm interest from Newcastle United. We haven't made any inquiries at all, according to reports this morning. So we just have to play it coy on that. For me, Belotti would be a wonderful, wonderful signing, but it's whether he wants to come to the Premier League. That's the difference. If Belotti doesn't want to come to the Premier League, then for me, there's no point pursuing it because, his heart won't be in it. But I think it will be a big challenge for Belotti if he was to come to the Premier League, and I think he would thrive. He'd certainly do well at Newcastle United. And he's a player that would excite me to come in. But there you go, guys. Plenty transfer rumours over the weekend. There's no doubt about that. What do you think of the Julian Draxler links? Do you think, would he be a player that would excite you? Harvey Barnes is also a player that, is linked. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. I'm interested to read all your comments about what you think these players would bring to Newcastle United. But don't forget, if you're watching this on Monday, tonight, live at 8 o'clock, we've got the FFP show. It's a one you guys have been asking for, and hopefully will give you a better understanding of how FFP works and how it would affect Newcastle United moving forward. But if you have enjoyed today's video, guys, as usual, please hit that like button to make sure that YouTube know that something good is happening on this channel. And also, if you're new, do hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so, as well as that notification bell, which will tell you when we upload or we go live. But thank you very much for watching the video, guys. Enjoy your day. Take care.